What's going on, world? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Emmy here, and so we're just gonna keep it going with the Venus series. Today we're gonna be talking about Libra. If you want a better understanding of what Venus represents in astrology, go ahead and hit the link in the description box down below. But I'm just gonna keep going, moving on to Libra, since me and intros just do not get along. Venus rules Libra, so it's at home here, which makes it very calm and balanced and subtle, because Libra is very chill, there's no need to rush, and it goes with the flow. When it comes to love, even though Libras won't admit this because they want to come off so nonchalant with everything, but they really do want the notebook, the fireworks, the happily ever after. They want to fall in love and they want to find the one, because Libras, they don't feel the best if they're not in a relationship, depending on the rest of their chart and what's going on in their life. But they tend to always be in some sort of relationship or dating. They may date multiple people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're hooking up with everyone. They just like to be, they learn a lot about themselves by being in relationships and trying and feeling other people out. They like to keep their options open, which is why they date around, and they do tend to fall for people very quickly. They tend to fall for the idea of who they are, or like what they want the person to be, over who they really are. Like, they're very like infatuated, and they just love, and it's kind of like very innocent and very childlike, which kind of makes them get into relationships that aren't always the best for them, or just continuously looking for relationships because they want to find the one, but also they want to just have fun and experiment and try different kinds of people, because they're so balanced. I feel like they think they can get along with anyone, so they're trying to figure out what the best version of them is, because they like aesthetics and they like different kinds of aesthetics, so they want to see which one really matches theirs, if that makes sense. Now, just because they do date a lot and they get infatuated easily doesn't mean that they're not loyal. They still are loyal people. I don't want to get that confused. They are big flirts though. They don't even realize it when they're flirting, even though everybody around you, like your homegirl, will be looking at you like, girl, that you were definitely flirting. That was definitely flirting, even though they're gonna be like, what? Like, I was just saying hi. I was just saying hi. Really? But they don't see it as flirting, even though they're clearly flirting. But yeah, just because they do the most sometimes with their flirting doesn't mean that they like you too, okay? They get kind of spooked kind of quickly. They want things to flow and take their time. They're very balanced. Like, just because they're talking to multiple people doesn't necessarily mean that they're rushing into things. They kind of like take the appropriate amount of time. Of course, every relationship is different, but like, they're not really the type that's going to sleep with you on the first night, but they're not going to wait until date number 20. Like, there's like, they know the good balance with things, they're not going to try to commit to you right away, but they're not going to take too long to commit to you. So they kind of know how to find what's just right. But yeah, so they don't come off too strong. That's one of the things that I would say makes them very compatible with Gemini, because Gemini also hates when things are too strong, and they're also both very communicative people. They'll treat you fairly, they love to please, and they always try to find the common middle ground. Really big on aesthetics, comfort, art, interior design, fashion, cooking. They like things that are aesthetically pleasing because they are ruled by Venus. They don't really have a type necessarily. They do like people who look good, maybe somebody with a very symmetrical face. They like people with good style. They don't really have a specific type. As long as you look good and presentable, they could be interested in you, and as long as you're not somebody that's pushy. They have multiple ideas of what they could go for or be with. So as long as you're like aesthetic, like, they like unique styles and unique ways to present yourself. So as long as you are put together, they enjoy that as well. They are very accommodating. They are people pleasers. That is their downfall. They are also tend to be codependent with people. It can be very unhealthy sometimes, not just in relationships, but with friends as well. They really value your opinion, friends, family, partners, to the point where they sometimes need you to make a decision, even on the smallest thing of, do I pick black or white, So if that's something like that, I don't want to say that they're not independent, but since they have this need for relationships and since they tend to fall for codependent relationships and have these kind of codependent habits, if that's something that turns you off, then I wouldn't say that they're the type of person for you. They will put your needs before theirs because of the codependency. They're very kind people. They like balanced people. They don't like negative energy. They're very like they like to stay neutral. So if you're someone who has a negative outlook on life, they probably won't like to be around you. They're not into drama, even though they do love to listen to other people's drama. They also don't like people who do too much or who are arrogant and have like bad manners. So if you're someone that needs to, because they like to be just right, like they like to just be in the middle. So if you're somebody that tries to do too much to get attention, then they're going to be turned off by that as well. So just like kind of remaining calm in everything that you do and your approach with them, especially in confrontation. They don't like to be spooked. They don't like to be startled. So if you are coming at them too strong, or if you're trying to confront them in something and it's not in a way that they like, you may not hear from them for a few days or however long until they get over it. They don't like confrontation, so they will literally like ignore you until they're ready to have the conversation, and who knows, you could be over it by that time. But if you are trying to confront them with something, I would say that it's important to approach them with like a solution based approach. Don't just like complain about what's wrong. Like try to find the middle ground, because they are all about balance. So if you are just telling them everything that's wrong in the relationship, because they are very communicative and they do like balance. So if you're coming at them in a very negative way, especially if you catch them off guard, it will take a longer amount of time for them to come around, I guess, and like actually like communicate properly. So just always try to come at them with some sort of like solution. Like, I don't like this when this happens, but I think if you were able to meet me halfway and do this, you'll get a better reaction out of it. They're really big on balance since they are the scale. So if you're more of a taker than a giver, I wouldn't say that this relationship would work, because it doesn't take much for them to move on. They love a good thirst trap. They love attention. If you see them post something of them looking cute on social media, I would definitely say comment, like it, give a little heart, do something, interact with it to let them know that there is a desire that you have. They like to be chased, but don't do too much. Don't be like, oh, you're so beautiful, I just can't wait to see you, type of thing. Like that'll definitely scare them and make them not interested. But as long as you're showing some sort of appreciation and engagement, they will like that as well, because they want to be chased after. They won't really do the chasing. Yeah, they do love to be gassed up, just don't do too much is what I'm trying to get at. They are really into romance. They love to be in a relationship. They're probably always in a relationship or talking to someone or maybe multiple people. They do move on quickly. Most Libra Venuses, I feel like if they're going to break up with you, it's because they have somebody lined up. Like they love relationships, or they won't break up with you, depending on the rest of their chart, but they won't break up with you unless they have somebody else lined up. If they were on the opposite side of a breakup and you dumped them, because they are the scales, because they are so much about partnership, because they're the partnership sign, Libra rules the 7th house, all about relationships. So if they were to be dumped, it would throw off their scale, and it would literally like throw off their whole world, and they would just like be a mess and not know how to like live until they're over it, of course, or until they find the next person. Let's be real. Libra Venuses, be honest with me here. Do you really like this person, or is it just the idea of this in person? I feel like Libra Venuses can tend to fall for the idea of potential, and they also fall for the idea of love. They always want to be in love. They feel like they need to be partnered, and they feel like they need a relationship to balance them out. When you're dating these people, do you really feel like this person is for you, or is it because you're afraid to be alone, or is it just because you like the idea of love, or is it because you're falling for potential? I feel like Libra Venuses tend to fall for potential and put themselves in situations that aren't, or with partners that aren't actually going to support them or benefit them in any way. It doesn't take much for them to turn a relationship into a fantasy. They are blinded by love, and they may let all the negative sides of this person go, because they're so infatuated and they have this idea of what this person could be like, even though that's not who this person is at all. Just saying. They like to keep things romantic and sexy and enjoyable and peaceful. They want a peaceful relationship. Communication is really important to them as well, especially about how you're feeling in the relationship, or where areas that things can be improved, like doing some sort of like emotional relationship check-ins. If you're trying to get the attention of somebody with a Libra Venus, asking them questions about themselves, let them talk about themselves. They love to do that. If you open up to them first, they'll open up to you. Like, they're really big on trust and like they want to do things with people. So if you're able to open up to them first, you'll create a safer space for them to open up to you. They're not really like a Virgo or a Taurus where they're gonna take time to trust you on their own. It's kind of like if you are creating a space for them to let their walls down, they probably will. If they're seriously considering you to be someone that they want to make more serious, they really do value their friends' opinions or their family's opinions, so they will mix you around with their friends just to see how they feel about you in the beginning. Or even if they get into an argument, like they will tell their friends, because they are codependent in their relationships, not just their romantic relationships. So sometimes they can't come up with opinion on their own. So even if they know they should break up with this person, they will wait to hear 5 other people that they value to tell them that they should break up with this person. They are most compatible with their fellow Libras, Gemini, Sagittarius, or in Aries. I would say that they're least compatible with Cancer, Pisces, Capricorn, but it does depend on the rest of their chart. They're very generous people. They're not afraid to spend their money on you. They have really good taste, and they're very good at giving gifts or like romantic date ideas, whatever it may be. They have a lot of good creative romantic ideas. Number one thing to do to keep a Libra Venus happy, I would say, is make them feel like this is an equal partnership, and to support each other mentally and emotionally, and creating those spaces where you guys can check in and build and figure out what needs improvement and improving in those areas. They want an equal partnership. It needs to be balanced and equal. So making sure that everything is equally set whatever rules that you guys set up for each other once you guys are like established, or even if it's a friendship, like whatever rules that your relationship lives by, as long as they are sticking to each other, like they should be okay. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope that resonated with you. If you have a Libra Venus, let me know down below what resonated with you. If I forgot anything, let me know. We are all okay with improvement. And if you know anyone with the Libra Venus, or talking to anybody, friends, family, comment down below. And I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.